start again.
What's happening?
Y'all don't, you really don't understand. We had zero idea that there was a press. We didn't know anybody was waiting. We had no idea. And we were up there doing something else and they were like, yeah, the press conference. Like, what are you talking about?
Yes.
So, get ready for the best press conference of your life. Yeah, we talk about.
We're taking all the Diddy questions.
Yamara, come up here.
Help us. Yeah, we already told him, Yamar, you want to start the first Diddy question?
Yes.
I haven't been invited to any parties at all, like just in
I
general.
went to a break one. They didn't let me come to the white one.
Oh, really?
No pee in it.
No. All right. How do we do this? What happens?
What's going on?
Yeah, what
That's the question.
They're gonna start asking questions right here and this.
Okay.
All right, yeah, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna pass the mic around. Everyone's gonna get one question with you guys. If we have some extra time, we'll pass it around again. But so many people are here and eager to see you, so I don't think we're gonna have
Great.
time. All right.
Don't forget to announce your outlet again.
This is like the White House.
Kind of, but more black people. Yeah. I'm gonna ask a question like Trump. Just get there.
Good afternoon, y'all.
What's up?
First off, I'd like to say happy 20th year anniversary for the Boondocks.
Thank you.
I'm Xavier from Texas iTzzColeWRLD Creations. And my question is, it seems like almost like the shows, as far as predicting the future, is very relative amongst exemptions. What part of the writing or production process allows you to tap into the current and future trends so well?
You wanna go first, your mom?
You know what? I do have an answer to this question.
There you go.
I think that because we were doing the strip, which was very topical, and I believe that because Aaron Magruder is very, he was just always up on everything. I think that a part of it is that we kind of got lucky with some stuff. And part of it was just us seeing what was happening in the world and wanting to talk about it. And just kind of being on top of anything topical, you know, we were just kind of following the news and kind of following what was happening culturally. And we had stuff to say about it. Rodney?
I think sometimes too was the subject matter. Like I remember the R. Kelly episode where one of the ideas behind it was Riley would look at it one way, Huey would look at it one way, and they both represented two polarized ideas of how the community would look at an R. Kelly situation. So if you think about it, at some point, R. Kelly was going to be scored how you feel about it. That the chickens were going to come home to roost for R. Kelly. And we just happen to be on the right side of history, I think, in situations like that, but in other ones as well.
I also thought the show, with the writing, was, you guys did such a good job of writing evergreen topics that these topics will always be in fashion, always be in style, always be up front in the news. Racism is always going to be here. Sexism.
Racism is overdue.
No one's
Why we talking about it? We fixed it. So, yeah. Now, I think, you know, to your question, that a lot of the things that were around 2003, 6, when we first started the show, is relevant today, is because they always will be.
Oh, your mic's on. There you go. Hi.
My name is Kira. I am from a podcast called Bird's Eye View. I'm very excited to see all of y'all here today. It brings me such joy and pride. My childhood in me is screaming. This question is for Yamara. Hi. I wanted to know, you You say that you found out about your Korean heritage when you were 15.
I did say that.
Yes. I wanted to know what that was like for you, and has that influenced your writing since then, and was shape or form?
Yeah, so my mom married a black man, had a bunch of black kids, but she was very much about like, we're human. So when I filled out like any kind of paperwork that asked about race, she would make me write in human. And so, she was like, you're a Heinz 57, you're mixed with everything. She was adopted out of the Korean War. She was 4 years old. And it wasn't until I was 15 and I was kind of like looking at my baby hair, like, ooh, look. That we just like had this conversation where she was like, well, yeah, you're mixed. And I was like, what? And it wasn't that she was keeping information from me as much as it was just not stuff we talked about. And I think because she was a single mom, and she just was so about we are all one, that it wasn't until I got on Blackish that I really started kind of digging into, not like my black side, because I was on the Boondocks, but having those arguments and stuff in the writer's room and really just kind of like exploring all parts of my culture and just kind of figuring it out. But from a writing perspective, I think that I just kind of really understood that I have the opportunity to tell a very specific, unique story.
Well, I'm confused, wait. What was you? Your mama was she? was she, wait, who was me? What?
My mom's Korean and my dad's
Your mom's
black.
Korean?
Yes.
And your dad's black?
Yes.
And you grew up with both of them?
No, I grew up with my mom.
Only your mom?
Yes.
So you didn't?
So, and she has no Korean heritage because she was adopted by a black family.
But she looks Korean.
She looks Korean.
But inside, she full-on different.
Yes.
So okay.
She wrote a rap called Soul to Soul, S-E-O-U-L.
That's what I was
To S-O-U-L.
Yeah, she knows that.
Yeah, it wasn't a good rap, but it was, it was written.
She was influenced.
She was influenced.
Yeah.
Yeah, she had a little afro wig, like she was for the culture, let me tell you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I just never made the connection.
Nobody said nothing to her.
No.
Just let her run.
Nope.
And so I know your mama had told you human. I'm sorry, I'm very interested in this now. Because I didn't know, we just really started knowing each other in the last couple of days. Because I refused to talk to her when she went to the movie. That's a lot.
It was a thing.
It was a thing. I didn't talk to nobody.
Why won't you talk to your mama?
She know what she did. That Asian.
And I would do it again.
That was her mama coming out.
So what did you, when you were young, other than human, like what did you think?
I was black.
Okay.
Yeah, I was black. And so, but I also wasn't in a household. It's not that she was like not pro-black, we didn't talk about race like that. And so it wasn't until I was in rooms like the Boondocks where I was like, oh, we're talking about stuff and we're gonna dig in. It was really, really scary at first because I didn't want to be on the wrong side of the argument and I didn't really have a point of view yet, except we are all one, And then I got a point of view. You've heard it.
I'm just light skinned.
To RTV, also from Blurred's Eye View. Gary, I gotta say thank you because you did a podcast for a friend of mine about a year ago called Do You Speak Geek? And you were kind of giving Phil Lamar some grief, and I was kind of egging it on. And you kind of gave me a shout out, but it was so professionally cut. I use that for my YouTube intro now. I also gave Phil your message. He said, and I quote, unless Gary can prove he invented the black version, I owe him nothing.
Phil, here's why I said Phil Lamar owed me. But first of all, me, Phil, Cedric, Yarbrough, and that's more of us. We had been in an improv comedy group in LA now for, how many years is it?
12, 13?
Yeah, about 13 years. It's called the black version then. But years ago, I was on Star Wars, and I was Kit Fisto. But because I was also on another TV show at the same time, Boston Legal, I couldn't, the guys from Star Wars would not allow me to do both of them. So I had to give up the role. And then Phil took the role, ran away with it, and then he became Kid Fisto. So I hate him now. But in a loving way, that a man he hates.
I was just told to let you know, but for all of you, nobody on the screen or in this room are affiliated with anyone here, leaked the pilot for the Boondocks last year. And I'm just curious, what went on or what caused the changes between the animation was different?
Oh, I never even saw this.
It was hiding in plain sight. It's like an old catalog site where they just keep
Oh,
old
wow.
CDs, and someone just released it. So I'm just curious what went on between what we all know and what that was. Your design was different. Huey
Was
had
it
a
the
different
Fox
voice.
pilot?
Live in the Fox.
Was
It was a 6-minute short.
Slightly different.
Yeah.
And that was just a presentation, that was a presentation pilot, I don't think, if it's the Fox one.
Because originally the show was for
Yeah,
Fox.
Fox was the first person who said yes.
And then
Then they said no.
they said no. It was
Yeah.
like it was too much for them, right?
Yeah, it was too much. Certain words.
That's funny. Man. Like I never saw the thing that you saw.
Oh, yeah. Huey was voiced by somebody different. I think Jasmine almost seemed like more of a love interest.
Justin Timberlake, too. He was yours.
I watched that before, I think when I met with Sony for staffing, that's what I watched to get the job. And then we got in the room and he was like, yeah, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, good to know.
How's it going, guys? My name is Cleveland from iTzzColeWRLD. Now, a lot of people across the internet will always say, if the Boondocks was out today, it would go crazy because of the amount of like historical moments that's been happening throughout the last few years. From y'all perspective, y'all point of view, what moment in the last couple of years, historical moments that you guys felt like this would be comedy gold for the Boondocks?
Shannon Sharp for me.
Sure.
Shannon Sharp.
Wow.
I think the three that stand out, January 6th, I always said
Yeah.
January 6th, led by Ruckus, would be.
Pad down.
There you go. And keep getting shot, because you'd be the one to lead them. Then keep you what the hell to what side you on. And I think the puppy trial of R. Kelly was his attorney. That would be the
Wow.
because R. Kelly has expertise in a lot of what puppy boys do. He can represent them well.
All right, thank you.
Hello, my name is Ron Leonard. I'm with Big Bro Broly out of Dallas, Texas. Big fans of the show and so glad to be here. I did have a question for Gary and Cedric. I wanted to ask if there's a lot of creativity and a lot of content creators out here and whatnot, and so I was interested, what were your opinions on what maybe Steve Wiener and Uncle Ruckus think about DreamCon and just all the beautiful black folks out here?
Let me get out the way.
I heard you several errors in your conversation already. I heard you say beautiful black folks. That is not proper. That is an impossibility. Now, I am reminded of that thing on the internet right now. It's like, one gorilla versus 100 men. I'm looking at a room full of gorillas right now. And it don't matter how many, it's a dangerous place. I'm watching my wallet constantly. I don't know what damn dream that y'all think y'all have, but so that's just absolutely ridiculous. I'm smelling more hair grease than I ever smelled in my whole damn life. And the amount of braids that I see in here, I want to put them all in a rope and climb myself out of here like Rapunzel, get the fuck out of here. Speak me now, turn it over to you.
Well, is this fun?
Yes.
I'm looking at everything. And I hate everything that you just said. I hate the braids, I hate the grease, I hate the lotion. I do love the sexy, did you see the one nerd there that had the booty out?
That's just the booty, I call it the booty nugget.
That was nice. I did enjoy that, even though I am blind. How's that, motherfucker?
No, but in all honesty, like this is honestly the first true black con that I've totally done. This has been mind blowing. It's been absolutely mind-blowing.
I thought they hit the white people somewhere. I was waiting for the white people.
Yeah. Well, there's one hit. Luckily, there's representation. I always gotta have one in there.
Just to make sure everything's running.
I question her over here behind the camera. It's been incredible. Like I had no idea what to expect at all, and it's been mind blowing. So, thank you for all the support. Like to the love for the Boondocks in general, not just the Ruckus character. Which thank you for all the writing you did on that guy, Rodney. But just the love for it in general is pretty much beyond my belief. So it's been magic.
Hi, iTzzColeWRLD. I'm from Bender Courage Podcast. So, in Philly, my question to you as a group. So it's like two parts for you. So one part for you as the voice actors, and one part as you as the writers. Like the characters, coming up with them. So on the first part, writing them, how did you come up with the concept of that, and then how did you, as the voice actors, produce those concepts, and then come up with the way the characters actually you animated them? You know what I mean?
I can speak for Stinkmeaner. We knew we wanted to do an episode where Granddad was going to get into a fight. That episode is called Granddad's Fight. And we knew we wanted him to get into a fight with an old man. And so at the time, I would write these quirky little bios about characters that would, just kind of be fun little, I don't know, they would have weird names and idiosyncrasies. And so I just went up and wrote a little bio about who I thought this guy would be. And in the bio, his whole shitty life was leading up to the moment where he smelled new shoes and got to step on Granddad's brand new sneakers. And he was happy. That was the only thing that ever made him happy, and before that he hated everything. And he would never be happy again with just that one moment, that one day moment he was excited about. And so, and then life was breathed into Stinkmeaner.
I just remember we were going to have a table read, and I was kind of a placeholder for someone more famous and bigger that I think they really wanted.
Was it me?
No.
Sidney Poitier?
Either Poitier.
Okay,
Morgan Freeman? Morgan?
I did Morgan Freeman. Have you seen your friend Andy Dufresne?
No, I know friend Andy Dufresne. Oh.
Maybe it's that.
So they had a placeholder for someone else to do the role, but they wanted me to just read that day for it. And I saw the description, and it just made me laugh. And I loved, I was telling the story earlier about how I loved Schoolhouse Rock as a kid. I'm just up here, this guy who just kind of had this really cool voice. So, a jazz musician named Jack Sheldon. And, he had that in conjunction, he was just really cool with it. And I just turned mine up and made it this. And so it was birthed of that. And then at the table read, they're like, we're not getting more for
No.
we can't afford it. Two, you're
Morgan
Freeman. So that's how at least that character came. And then the great direction of Andre Romano, along with Carl Jones and Aaron Magruder, of course, directing what they thought they could get out of me to make him more cantankerous, more hateful, throw out some really bad lines of,
You got bad credit, Robert!
that kind of stuff. Made it more hateful.
It's hard now. I grew up on Schoolhouse Rock. And just to think that that's where you got that.
That's right.
It's just the best thing
I
in the
met
world.
him years ago, before Jack Sheldon passed away. There's a jazz club called the Baked Potato in LA, and he used to play on Friday nights. And I visited him before he passed, but he was playing, and I said,
Hey Jack, has anyone ever done you to you before? Hey, that's pretty good, kid.
it was really nice to meet him.
For me, it was always Ruckus. I mean, I think from the beginning, channeling all the old black men in my neighborhood that hated black people, you know, it was that energy. I think there was a period between the Fox pilot where there were all of these things that we wanted to say we couldn't because it's on Fox. And then going to Adult Swim, now you can say anything that you want. And I remember the first riff of sitting down and counting how many times we're going to say nigga throughout and punctuating every sentence. And a little bit of pushback along the way, but it was necessary for Ruckus to be able to express himself. And I believe Ruckus has expressed himself.
The beauty, the through line and symmetry of that is, I grew up in the Deep South, and my dad had these friends who would come over on Sundays and wondered why he didn't drink no more. And it was the group of friends he had, some of them who hated other black people.
Well, mine would be like, that's what Dr. King get.
Yeah.
You know, he shouldn't have been out there.
And I was always like, why you even, because my daddy wasn't bad. But you know, he like,
no, like,
why are you hanging around these dudes? But now I mean,
rounding white people up.
Yeah.
That would be the thing.
Yeah. He was like one of the guys. His name was Mr. Candy Walker, and he would be like, "If you shake hands with a white man, you shall become friends." He was always driving around on a Sunday telling us how to like white people. Like, what are you doing?
So that's 2 days worth of good luck if you shake a
Oh yeah. You let a white man pat you on the head, it's the best man day of your life. All right.
It's like a leprechaun.
Yeah. Thank you, brother.
Guys, I gotta go. I have to moderate a panel.
Oh, good. Happy moderation.
They don't have me moderating about it.
Bye.
Education. See you later.
You didn't like my outfit, huh? You didn't have to be like that. That's crazy.
Well, they got us working for these rooms. There's 4 seasons. You guys go.
Hey guys, how's it going?